And Darian out there, certainly there's a hole, but it gives other guys an opportunity, and you can say the same thing about Tommy. You know, Tommy's a guy that we gotta find ways to get on the field in the fall. And the nice thing about him is he's getting his strength back in his shoulders, he's getting healthy, but he's putting some weight on too. You know, he's up over 220 pounds now. He's in the low 220s. So if we can, get him to start getting that shoulder stronger and rehabbing and keep that weight, he runs like our safeties. So he's a guy that, again, I think we just need to be creative as coaches and find a way to get Tommy Sanders on the field because of his skill set. That's something we got to find a way to do.
What were the areas that you wanted to make the biggest strides in coming in the spring?
Leadership. I think we just lack leadership as a whole on defense last year, and that's, in my opinion, that's what a linebacker does first and foremost. That's what you see in our meeting rooms. We need leadership out of that position. And part of that just comes with guys getting more comfortable, maturity. We didn't have many returning guys last year. Stephen Jenkins and Donnie Baggs were not leaders in terms of being vocal guys out there. And then as many freshmen as we played, those guys just, it's hard for freshmen to come in and open your mouth right away. But I've seen our guys start to do that. Jordan, obviously, Reggie's having to do it. Both are Mike linebackers. You're seeing a guy like Sean Washington become more vocal. He's played a lot of football for us. And Justin Bass is a senior. So we're getting guys to open their mouth, communicate, and that's important. Everybody wants to be a leader by example, but at some point you got to open your mouth, and you got to direct people out there, and that's those two things, and they go hand in hand to me: the leadership and the communication.
With Jordan being at the mic, how has his development in that role come along?
It's just, I just think you see a totally different person out there, much more comfortable. He's taking charge. He's getting our guys lined up, which you guys know is over half the battle on defense, because people are going to come out, and what did they do to us last year? They gave us a lot of wild formations, motions, shifts, adjustments that we always didn't handle well, and that resulted in a lot of big plays. So that's the first piece is identifying, getting lined up, making checks, making adjustments, and he's been spot on this spring. And he knows he's by far from being a finished product right now. We just got to get him to continue on that same path.
How much of it was, I guess, a challenge with him when he got in there early as a freshman last year?
Well, part of the challenge was he just wasn't playing as much as Darian. So when it came time, he was playing more toward the end of the season, but when it came time to actually step in there in the bowl game, I just don't think it's something that he embraced. And it was, it was a disaster from the opening kickoff in the bowl game. Nothing went right, So I think, like most of our guys, they were questioning themselves in the locker room, and it was just a matter of going out, getting a stop, and I think you started to see the confidence start to come back a little bit. So it was a playing time issue, really as much as anything, just not having a ton of reps.
Do you see potential star quality with Sean Washington, and what's it going to take for him to get there?
I think Sean can be a very good player in the SEC. Again, star. I don't know how to define star, but I think he can be a very, very good football player for us. Sean loves to play, and Sean brings a skill set and a mindset. He plays extremely hard, so it's always going to give him a chance to be in position to make plays. And Sean's physical. He's not our biggest linebacker, but he packs a punch when he comes, and he's there in a bad frame of mind when he does it. So, just saying that, I think Sean's a lot better than he was last fall. He's more confident. He's a tough guy. He rolled his ankle the other day and didn't bat an eye. He taped it up and got it spatted and came right back out to practice. And so those things I just said, football being important to him, he's got a lot of pride. He's a very, very tough-minded individual, and he loves to play. And that's a great starting point for anybody. I think the sky's the limit for him.
You mentioned trying to maybe find a way to get Tommy Sanders on the field. What's the biggest hurdle that he has to climb?
I think just being healthy, number one. I think when he got his shoulder messed up really last spring, I think that just, I think you're talking about a guy who probably had never been hurt to that extent before, and he gutted it out. He didn't want to have surgery, wanted to suck it up and play, but I just think playing, with a torn labrum there was tough. Now he's going to be healthy. I think you'll see a different guy out there. He's a guy that can play out in space. Potentially he's a guy that could go line up on your two to the field like our nickel does, and and be a very good player. He's a guy that's too skilled to be standing on the sideline. And like I said, we've got to get creative in terms of how we use him and finding a spot for him out there.